Okay guys, back to doing different Linux distros. Today's one is going to be Elementry OS. After a 2.5 hour stint in trying to install Slackware, I just couldn't get it to install for whatever reason, so moved to this one because it was getting to a point where I was almost smashing my screen in. But so yeah, I'm going to go ahead and start this installation, which is general udisk. Try and install Elementry. And wait for it to pop up. Once this pops up, I'll come back to you. Now I'm having a slight problem with my screen capture device. Although it's up and running, as you can see, I can only seem to pick up one screen. It won't let me mirror the screens at the moment, so I'm just gonna have to try and go through as much as I can with this install. See if I can make the fonts any bigger. I think you can on this one, so hopefully you can kind of see what I'm doing. I'll try and put it through step by step a little bit more. So initial install screen, asking you to ask for language. For me it's United Kingdom. Keyboard layout, and why does it go English, UK again, default. Erase the disk and install. Make sure it's the right hard SSD. Encryption password. NVIDIA graphics. Do I need that? Oh, it's not a virtual machine anyway, so I'll click on the third-party drivers anyway, just in case, and erase and install. Now it should just basically go through a standard install. Once we get through this, I will come back to you. Right, okay, it seems as though I have now been able to actually get screen mirroring done now, so finally, at least we get something done. Right, let's go through the guide. I don't know anything about this one. Choose your own look, I'll leave it at that for now. Not bothered about a nightlight. No, don't want to be doing any of that. Online accounts, I'm not bothered about that at the moment. Get apps made from Elementary OS, so let's see what we can get. If it'll actually do it. Right, you know what? Here we go. It just took a while to come up. So, and then it closes. I have a feeling. Pause quit. Wow, what is it doing? Well, I think it's coming up with mirrors now. Yeah. So it's beyond me as this one today. I've been having nothing but problems, so maybe a case of putting the machine down underneath the 7020 underneath, instead of having this short form factor 7010 underneath the desk. It's entirely possible. But let's see if we can get into the App Store. There we go. And it's looking like we're doing something. This seems very similar to something like Mint or Zorin, but it looks a little bit more like the Apple iOS than anything else. That out of the way so I can see what I'm doing. But we'll wait for the installer to update itself, because it's apparently down here it says it's installing updates, now over here, and it keeps on moving about. What's the... yeah, it's updated part, something already. So yeah, it looks exactly the same way as Mint, Zorin, Navara, Fedora, where you just basically, it's more of a graphical user interface, even though having some problems actually getting it up and running to record. But we'll see. So I'll let all this lot do its updating, and I'll come back to you once it's done, and I'll start adding a couple of applications like web browser, OBS as usual, just to see if it's as easy as Zorin or Linux Mint. Right, now the system seems to update itself. I'm just going to go back to the home and try and find out where Firefox is, install that first, try and get onto the internet, make sure that's working, and what even, oh, search buttons here. I think it is very much like Mint, where you've just got to try and search. So what I'll do, like I normally do, is just hit Firefox, and there we go. So yeah, it's very similar to Linux Mint. And you're just going to hit the install. Once it's installed, I'll come back again and start going through the internet setup, make sure that works. So Firefox is now installed, so I'm just going to straight open it. Continue, skip the step, start browsing. It looks like it's working. Sign into this now. And yeah, it's working perfectly fine, Firefox now, so that's a good thing. Something that I've noticed that's slightly different with this one is where the icons for closing stuff down is, expanding stuff or restoring it down to its original size is on the opposite side, which I think lines up more with Apple products. I'm not sure, I've never had an Apple PC. So now I'm going to go back to search and hit OBS, and it's not there. Oh, hang on, so It might be because it's on the internet part. Going to home. Now search. Okay, it's found OBS going back into the home. So I'm just going to install OBS Studio. Once that's installed, once again I'll come back, launch it up, see if we can get the webcam up and running. And if it's a case of that, that's literally going to be a case of finishing the video up. It looks like it's very, very similar to Zorin OS, Navara, Linux Mint, where stuff just runs straight from its own app center. So another one for the beginner, basically. Okay, seems like OBS is now installed. So I'm literally just going to go open it up and see if it goes through the right menus. Just recording. Next. Next. Yeah, looks like it's going to do, but I will just add the camera up on it just to see if it comes up with my ugly mug on the really crappy camera that I use for this. So apply the settings, add the source. Now this is the newest version of OBS, which is slightly different on how you add stuff, and there we are. I mean, there we go. Focus it a little bit better. Okay, yeah, and there we are. OBS is running. So yes, it's definitely one that's going to be the same or very similar to Mint, Zorin, Navara. I think pretty much anything with KDE will just straight install, but this isn't KDE. I don't know what desktop this is, but it's very reminiscent, I think, of iOS. So if you're coming from Apple or from an old Apple machine, this might be the one for you. Rather than a Windows alternative, it's an iOS alternative. And I think that's going to be it for this one today, guys. Thanks a lot.